on the internet nowadays, everyone is so quick to be offended by what other people are saying. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you're not new. I wanted to start this video by just saying that this is kind of going to be a little bit of a new, not a new beginning, but a new chapter perhaps for me on this channel. I feel like I am very bored. I'm bored of my content, I'm bored of my online presence, and I'm bored of censoring myself and being careful with what I say and not being 100% me. I personally, in my personal life, I'm very, very opinionated. I love having discussions and debates, and I like talking about things that are difficult, and I like talking about things that are potentially controversial. I like listening to other people's opinions on controversial topics and all of that kind of stuff. And I feel like on my social media, I am very vanilla, and I feel like I'm not vanilla in real life, and I don't think it's a very good reflection on who I am anymore. It might have been at one stage, but I'm 24 now. I started social media I think when I was 15, so it's almost been 10 years and I've changed a lot. I feel like I really have grown into a very respectful woman, and I feel like I'm very careful online with what I say because I don't want to upset anyone, and I take a lot of people's burdens and triggers and things that upset people onto myself, and I take responsibility for that, even though that is not my responsibility. And this whole new chapter comes with the outspoken version of myself, and I'm very proud to be outspoken. I'm very proud to talk about things that matter and talk about things that I believe in, and I feel like that's what I want to do on this channel. You'll still get the crazy vlogs and the weekly vlogs and all of that kind of stuff, but this new chapter is something which I'm very excited about. As you can tell, you can probably tell I'm a little bit giddy. When I talk about things that I'm passionate about, I am very happy, and I feel like that's the way that I want this channel to be. That's the way I want all my social media to be, and I'd like to be able to share my opinions, and you can have opposing opinions. I am not upset if someone doesn't agree with me. I do want it to be a respectful place, but I'm aware that in being somewhat controversial or talking about things that are sometimes potentially controversial or that you don't agree with, you do get people who have opposing opinions, so that's fine with me. You're very, very welcome to disagree with me, and you can chat down below in the comments if you disagree with anything that I'm saying. But I just wanted to share with my personal experience and my personal opinions. With all that said, I'm going to talk about something which I have been biting my tongue about for months now. Something which I didn't really fully have a whole palm's grasp on until probably I would say the last few weeks. So this video is going to be about why I hate being fat. My own personal experience with the body positivity movement, gaining and losing weight, and the response that I've gained from other people as a result of that. Also, I will be touching on the benefits of exercise and the downsides of being overweight. I just wanted to kind of explain where I'm at with that, why I personally hate being fat, and my experience in the body positivity movement, and why I believe it's not all as body positive as it seems and it could seem. I'm also going to be including some points that I have received from a family friend of ours who is a doctor and physio, and I'm going to be explaining them a little bit later on in the video, so you guys kind of have some, you know, fact-based evidence. It might be a little bit rambly, but I'll try my best to put timestamps in where I can, and yeah, I guess let's get on with it. The body positivity movement. I'm very, very aware that this movement, we'll call it a movement, I guess, is very very popular and very talked about in the media, on social media, on specific people's posts, and it's something that I have been heavily involved with. I've been heavily involved with it not necessarily on purpose. It wasn't something that I one day made a decision to kind of insert myself into. And the reason I say that is because I gradually gained weight and people started to praise me for being fine with my body at its overweight stage. And I took that as a positive. People looked to me for guidance to be confident in the size that I was or am currently. My weight has fluctuated a lot over the years. I have had a battle with anorexia, bulimia, and multiple different things that have been unhealthy and disordered behaviors. But when we talk about body positivity, there's a multitude of reasons why I don't like the movement, but I am also going to touch on the fact that I have been fat, I currently am overweight, and I want to lose weight. And the reason which I think it's toxic is because I have been very apprehensive to talk about my weight loss journey on the internet, because I have had people in the past, when I've talked about exercise or maybe changing the way I'm eating or whatever it is, come for me and tell me that I'm not a good role model. I am promoting eating disorders. I'm promoting all sorts of wild things, and all I'm trying to do is make myself healthier. And I feel like it is, first of all, a bit wild that I am apprehensive to share my own current journey because of backlash or people telling me that my eating disorder's back. You can have recovered from an eating disorder and also want to lose weight. Those two things can coexist and they can be healthy. I'm 24, as I said. I developed an eating disorder, I would probably say around the age of 12. And I would say last year I really nipped it in the bud. It's still something that on a day-to-day basis I need to make conscious decisions to do ABC, but I am well recovered and I am very, very good. I just wanted to kind of make an example of myself and say, listen, like, those two things can coexist and be successful. It doesn't have to be a case where because I'm losing weight that means that my eating disorder's back, or you pick up on ABC of what I've done in my life and you've decided that this is now the case. I put information out there that I want to put out there. You see literally like 1% of my life, and the 1% of my life that you see is the 1% of my life that I decide that you can see. One thing I also want to make very clear is that there is nothing wrong with gaining weight. I just want to make that completely crystal clear that I don't believe that gaining weight is a bad thing. But gaining weight to the extent that I did and have done was not to my benefit. In fact, it was to my complete detriment. I never ever had anybody question my health when I was overweight. Now, just to give you a little bit of context, when I was at my biggest, I was around, I would say 5 stone overweight, at least. And that's just for typically for my height and body shape and lifestyle. And that is a lot of excess weight, but I was very, very praised for it. It was something that then when I reflected on myself, I was kind of, in a way, coaxed into believing that that was kind of the best version of myself, and that because I was posting a picture of my fat rolls, it meant that I obviously loved myself and that I was an inspiration, and all of these things, which are really big statements to make, especially to someone who's just posted a picture of a fat roll. Like, I wasn't necessarily doing anything incredible. I was just overeating and not exercising. So to me personally, I don't feel like I was that inspirational or that incredible or that much of a role model or anything like that. I feel like I was very lazy. I ate too much and didn't move enough. And yeah, I become very lazy, and I don't like that about myself. And I personally, that's not the life that I want to live. So the reflection of what I was doing versus the response I was getting from being fat was very contradictory in my head, and I became very confused about it. I got so much positive feedback. I still do get so much positive feedback. And for something that is not positive, becoming overweight and doing something that is very subpar, being lazy, it was very contradictory because I was receiving so much positive feedback on something that was inherently negative, a negative effect that was going to happen to me. It became so confusing because on a daily basis, literally like an hourly basis, I was receiving so much positive feedback. You're amazing, you're this, you're that. But it didn't sit right with me, and it made it like doubly difficult for me to recognize that what I was doing was not helping me, because I was receiving so much positive feedback and positive reinforcement every single time I posted a picture, or not. I didn't even have to post a picture. I would still get it from old pictures. And yeah, that just became very confusing to me. And I find myself kind of stuck in a little bit of a toxic loop with that, because I've only now realised that I don't have to be in that circle. I can get myself out of that circle, and to get myself out of that circle doesn't make me any less inspiring or amazing or valid. And I feel like in the community and in the space, the physical space that I was in, I feel like, so personally, I experienced a lot of praise for being fat, for being overweight and embracing myself. But I personally wasn't happy. I don't enjoy being this size. I don't enjoy being overweight. And I'm very aware of the physical health implications that can bring, which I will go over a little bit later on in the video. But it's something that really kind of dawns over my head, is the fact that I want to be the complete best version of myself, and I currently am far from it. And I'm 24. I'm literally at a peak age where I don't have any ties. I've not got children. I've not got like a dog or anything like that. I have so much time to focus on myself, and I was using that time essentially to harm myself. I also feel like anytime that I have seen people talk about wanting to lose weight and being within this community, it's almost like they've been exiled from a body positive space, and that really doesn't make sense to me. So my fear has been that people will say that I don't love myself and that I'm not projecting a good message or anything like that because I have said that I want to lose weight. Now, even that phrase, I want to lose weight, is something that I say in my personal life, but I never, ever, I would not dream of saying it online. And the reason I wouldn't dream of saying it online is because of the backlash. It's not people that are going to encourage me and essentially help me and motivate me. it's because people will genuinely come for me as if me losing weight and wanting to lose weight in a healthy way is a personal attack on them. And that in itself is wildly toxic to me, and is something that I refuse to surround myself with now. And that's why I guess it's kind of spurred me on to do this video, because in the last month, maybe month or two, I've really been on a journey with myself and my relationship with exercise, food, and really just trying to make myself a sick version of myself, essentially. And by sick version of myself, I mean like able, fit, strong, healthy, and healthy in mind as well as in physicality, and just a really amazing version of myself that I've never seen before. And I'm aware that there is heights that I've never reached before that I am very capable of, and I've not pushed myself to those heights yet because I've been scared, or I don't want to, or I feel like I might not be capable. And I'm just over that, and I feel like I'm capable of anything that I want to do, and that is exactly the mindset that I'm in right now. And that's why I really want to push myself and just reach a new level. So the next thing I wanted to touch on is a very nonsense message that I received on Instagram. This is not the first of its kind, however, I thought I'd respond. And I had a conversation with a random stranger who decided to tell me that because I'm exercising every day, with no context of what my exercise was, by the way, they've decided that my exercise habits are unhealthy, and they wanted to tell me about myself, basically. I will leave screenshots of the conversation on screen just so you guys can actually see the conversation. However, what I really struggled with was the fact that this person decided that they were going to come into my direct messages, insert themselves into my space, and tell me that I am exercising unhealthy habits, with no context as to what exercise I do, how long I exercise for, my physical and mental conditions or states, my actual exercise plan, what kind of exercise I'm doing. Nobody has any context. She didn't have any context. I've not shared that information yet on the internet. I've not shared it publicly. So all you know is that I have been going to the gym every single day with no breaks for 49 days. Within those days, I do active rest days, which can be things like half an hour on the bike, and I just kind of mindlessly pedal for half an hour, going for like a quick run on the treadmill. My point of going to the gym that many days in a row is to get myself into a healthy habit of getting to the gym. That was the hardest part for me, is actually getting there. So what I do there after that is important, but not as important as me actually getting there. So the conversation I had with her was then outlined all the things she didn't know, and I told her that her advice was unsolicited and completely unprofessional because she had no context. And then she began to tell me about how I exercise a lot of other unhealthy habits and I promote them to my audience. Completely irrelevant habits, by the way, which are not even mine, some of them. And I will openly admit that I used to Photoshop my pictures. I don't know if I've ever said that on a video before, but I, like I said, had very bad eating disorders through my whole teenage years, and that caused serious body dysmorphia, which I'm not proud of, but I'm not ashamed to admit that sometimes resulted in me photoshopping my pictures to make myself a better version of myself in my head. Whatever that was that I photoshopped, it was literally everything and anything, to making my eyes bigger, my ears smaller, my hair bigger. Like, it was, the list was endless in what I used to do, and I'm not denying that. I don't do that anymore though, so I don't really know what relevance that has. But my point is, anything she could have possibly said became invalid when she started to be nasty. And I've worked very hard to eradicate that and those behaviours from my lifestyle. Becoming such a better version in body and mind in myself is just wild, that some people will still want to absolutely just crap all over your parade just because I don't know, something's not right in their life and they have a specific opinion on what I'm doing in mine just seems ridiculous. Exercising every single day is not unhealthy. It's literal fact. As long as you are not pushing your body to its absolute limit every single day, you're going to be absolutely fine. So I find it bizarre that out of all the behaviours and things that I've shared on the internet and habits that I have displayed, like gaining a vast amount of weight in a somewhat short period of time, that was never criticised. I was never told that because I'm overweight, this, that, and the next. It was never criticised like talking about weight loss is criticised. My mum was an Olympic swimmer and she trained every single day, sometimes more than once, twice, 3 times a day. Like, the training is ridiculous and she's fine. She doesn't have any like health problems linking to her swimming. Like, there is athletes upon athletes who train every single day. Typically, it can result in obsessive behaviours for you know, the average person. And I am aware that obsessive behaviours can be developed as a result of excessive exercise. But that doesn't mean that I have that. And to impose your opinion on someone who's trying to exhibit healthy behaviours and, you know, motivate herself. And just to make it clear, I'm using this specific person because it's a conversation that I had today, but this conversation and these remarks are not uncommon. It happens all the time and it's not uncommon and it's not something that I've ever talked about before because, like I said, I don't want to be the person who is a little bit radical or controversial or anything like that. But if my personal opinions make me that, then that's fine because that's who I am. So I just wanted to share my experience, and this specific encounter I felt like was worth sharing because it seemed to me, well, turned out to be very much trolling masked in the shape of some sort of advice, or she wanted to seem like she cared, but it was very, very evident by the end of the conversation that is absolutely not what was going on, and that she just wanted to tell me about myself, really, in a way which she wanted to make me feel like crap about myself. And I guess on the back of this specific section, I just kind of wanted to say praise is not positive always, especially if you're praising a negative behaviour. It doesn't always positively impact the person that you're praising. The next point I wanted to touch on is the fact that people say you can be fat and healthy, you can be both of those things, and I've merely touched on it earlier in the video, but I wanted to really kind of delve into that ideal, I guess. And I believed that at one stage, and I really used that ideology to fuel my body positive outlook on myself and kind of kid myself on, I guess. And it's not to say that fat people can't be healthy. That's not what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that you can't be fat and healthy. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that everything comes with a price. And the more weight you gain, the more at risk you are to having an absolute plethora of health risks. And I will go into those specific health risks. This is the part where I spoke to one of our family friends who's a doctor and physio, and I wanted to make sure that my facts were correct, because obviously when you make bold statements like this, you can't really back it up with just opinions. There's 3 things that I asked him. His name's not Bob, but I'm gonna call him Bob just for privacy reasons. So the first thing that I asked him is the benefits of exercising every day or regularly. This is what his response was. Can help weight loss or weight control, depending on which way you want to go. Improves blood pressure, can improve cholesterol, can increase blood glucose levels, can help sleep quality, help your mental health, help body strength, help prevent muscle loss, less risk when you're older as your muscles lose strength, and it's called delaying sarcopenia. Shown to prevent cancers, reduce the risk of cancer reoccurrence, and improving overall heart and lung function. Now, those are some pretty big claims, all with evidence backing them up. So if those are reasons why to exercise, I don't understand why you wouldn't. And I find it weird that I'd be criticized for seeking the benefits that exercise clearly gives you. So with saying all of that, obviously I've been on my own journey recently and I have seen some huge improvements in my own life. And I wanted to kind of share some of the things that exercise has helped me with and improved in my own life. One of those including sleep quality. I don't know if you guys are privy to my sleep habits, but I have been a serial sleepwalker, talker, everything in my sleep. But since I've started this, it has only happened once, and that's in like almost 50 days. That is, the sleep that I have had, especially because I have ME as well, getting a good, decent night's sleep is sometimes quite difficult. I can't tell you how good my sleep's been recently. I go to bed at a normal time, well, normal for me, and I get up, I feel refreshed, I have energy. It's just been so different. My skin, like last year, my acne was so painful and I literally don't have one spot on my face. It's just not a coincidence. My skin is the best it's ever been and I'm exercising regularly. Those two things definitely come hand in hand. My energy levels have been unrecognizable. I genuinely can't remember a time where I had this much energy, especially because I got diagnosed with ME when I was around, I think it was 15. So the fact that since then, almost 10 years, I have never had this much energy or this kind of like love for life and lust over being active and getting myself out and getting myself up and on the go is just so valuable to me. And I feel like that is genuinely one of the biggest improvements I've seen since I started this. There was times, especially last year, where I literally could not get through the day without having a nap. I cannot remember the last time I had a nap. I don't nap anymore. I feel like it's such a cliche when people start exercising, they always say, my mental health's got so much better, but genuinely, my head is so clear. I feel like someone's taken some sort of like fog away from my eyes. Everything is so clear. I feel like my hormones have been balanced somewhat and I feel like I'm super in control of myself, my feelings, my head. I genuinely feel like it has turned a page since I've started exercising. I have always been quite a upbeat, kind of happy-go-lucky person. I am very positive on the most part, but there has been times in the past, especially, you know, in recent years, that messages like the one I talked about that I got on Instagram would have literally ruined my whole day. I wasn't very good at regulating when I got upset, or possibly the impact of a negative mood would have been quite prolonged. And I didn't really know how to get myself out of those dips. Whereas now I feel like I'm super confident at, you know, dealing with the difficult days, the down days, and understanding myself and what I need, what I don't need, and boundaries. And yeah, that's been really clear since I've started working out more. In my head, I just have a clearer view of what I want my days and my weeks and my months to look like. Now that I've talked about all the good things, I want to touch on the things which could have been potentials for me in the long run in my future if I was carrying on the way that I was gaining weight, the way I was gaining weight. Now, I just want to again reinforce what I said. Being overweight does not mean you are unhealthy, but being overweight does put you at more risk of developing issues like the ones I'm about to mention. And again, this is all information that I have been able to gather as a result of having a conversation with a doctor. Being overweight means that you are more likely to get heart disease, strokes, diabetes, any vascular diseases. You're at risk of altered hormones, especially for females, and kind of getting hormone disorders, increased blood pressure. You can develop fatty deposits around blood vessels, which obviously can cause health conditions. Medical procedures and operations, things like that, are more difficult as the wounds heal slower and you're at higher risk of infection. And obviously with being overweight, you get more wear and tear on your joints as your joints are under more pressure. And that means that you are more likely to get arthritis also. That is all very scary to me. I don't know about you guys, but hearing those things as a result of something that I could control is petrifying, because I personally was putting myself in a place where I was more likely to get all of these things for literally no reason. And like I said, I want to be the best version of myself, and for me that means being healthy from my head to my toes. And that doesn't mean, again, like I said, that doesn't mean that being overweight means I wasn't healthy, but I want to be healthy in the long run, and I want to make sure that I put my best foot forward and that I really put myself in the best stead for anything that comes my way. I want to have children, and I want to make sure that that journey is as plain sailing as I can possibly make it, and I don't want to add complications just because I'm overweight. I don't want that. So the point for me really is that I don't just want to be there. I don't want to just exist. I want to push myself, like I said, to limits that I've never pushed myself to before. And I'm not saying I want to do that every single day, because that's unrealistic and not good for my head in the long run. But I want to push myself to the best possible version of myself. And I want to get to 50 and 60 and 70 and still be doing sport and still be active. All of these things are real life goals to me, and I am bored of keeping my mouth shut about them. So they're all out in the open now. I'm under no illusion that all of these things can meet anybody in the whole world. All of these health problems that I've just mentioned can meet the healthiest, strongest, fastest people in the whole world. I know that, and I'm under no illusion that even at my best version of myself, I still might meet them. But I want to know that if I do meet them, God forbid, it won't be as a result of the things that I've done in my life, my lifestyle, my diet, my eating habits, my exercise habits or lack of. And I want to make sure that I genuinely put my best foot forward at all times. The main thing that really kind of irks me and really gets me going is the fact that I, at one point, couldn't say that I want to be slimmer, I want to lose weight, and that is what would make me happy, because that is so toxic, and I shouldn't say that because it makes other people feel bad, and really and truly, that's not my responsibility. If I feel better being slimmer, that's my prerogative, and that's nothing to do with anyone else. I'm not talking about anyone else. I'm not saying everybody should do this. I'm saying this is what I want to do. This is how I want to do it. And if you want to follow me on my journey, then feel free. I'd love to have you. If you don't, equally, cool. I'm not going to be upset. And I feel like on the internet nowadays, everyone is so quick to be offended by what other people are saying, especially about their own self. And it's absolutely wild. And I have lost weight. I am continuing to lose weight, and I'm continuing to better myself. And the way that I better myself is to fuel my body with really good, balanced diet and exercising a lot. I love exercise. I love moving my body, making myself feel good, making myself feel able, and challenging myself, lifting heavier weights, running for longer, cycling for longer. All of those things I love doing, and that's just me personally. And I feel like I'm probably not going to shut up about it now. So, sorry.